Um, This is the CSC Task Force meeting for Thursday, July 21st, 2022. I think that I will be the only village participant. Gina and Rachel will be here. I think the other members were going to be out of town or away or just could not attend. So I'll briefly go over some of the CSC action status items and that I can give an update for. And then I know Rachel has some status on the natural resources inventory. Pledge element 5, recycling bins in government buildings. I have photographed all of the recycling bins. I think I just have to work on a resolution for the trustees to approve that would say just basically institute the policy of using those recycling bins. I think that it's already within our employee handbook, and then I'll check the requirements for submitting this and just make sure that all of that's taken care of before our next meeting. And that's all that I've done within the Pledge Element 5, or that I'm aware of. Pledge Element 6, Unified Solar Permit. Carolyn and Mike discussed this at our trustees' noon meeting, and they're going to pick up their discussions on a village solar law and using the Unified Solar Permit. First, Mike wants to complete the process, the review and approval process for our tree conservation law. Because this information has to go before the planning board. They've usually have a very packed agenda, and they can usually only handle one review of a new law or an updated law at a time. So they will be working on that probably within the next month. They'll start reviewing the solar law for the village and this unified solar permit to see if it's practical for us. The alternative fuel infrastructure, the energy subcommittee of TCOG is looking at potentially starting an educational program or an informational program about electric vehicle infrastructure within Tompkins County. So I'm on that committee, and once we start that rolling, I will pass that information along to this committee and to the village. So we're looking at that. So now we're to the natural resources inventory. So Rachel, if you would give us a status on that. If you need to share a screen, I will turn that on right now.
Sure. So it's not a very glamorous status update, but it's a good one. I have had, there's been some just like internal changes to the CSC program structure and coordinators, all for the better, but this past month I've just been a little bit busy with that. So okay. I didn't get as far as I wanted to, but I've just been slowly working through the sections and adding in text, obviously referencing the Tompkins NRI and other sources like the Cayuga Watershed Network plan and such. We might even want to like include them in uploads or as references when we upload this document. I'm not sure how much we'll be able to fit, but yeah, it's going well. I'm hoping that by next meeting, maybe I'll have a draft ready to send out to you guys to look over.
Okay, good.
But it will probably still be, just done. So still very open to suggestions if like another section needs to be added or something like that. It's not going to be the final polished thing, but yeah, it's looking good. I'll save you guys from having to just like read over pages of text that would probably not be super interesting at this point. Once it's all ready, I'll send it over.
Okay, Rachel, that'll be good. I think if we can draw or reference resources that are external to the village to this particular document, the better it will be, because it will show our commitment along with our neighbors at the municipal and county level, even state, obviously, there could be some state references. I think all of those would be good. So let's try to fit those in as appropriate.
Yeah, definitely. And also thank you for sending over those Google Maps. I was able to convert it into some GIS maps for you guys. And also thanks for sending the Greenway plan as well.
Okay, good.
Trying to remember the name.
Yeah, the Greenway plan is undergoing its a final revision, I think. We've got a few changes, and it will be updated. It will be briefer with some new information and some old information removed. So when that's done, I'll provide that to you too. I don't think there's anything that would necessarily impact this document, but there will be a couple of new sections that we might be able to add some new data into the NRI too.
And just so for your knowledge, I will definitely include a little bit of information and
Let us do the rest
over to the Greenway plan, because
Good.
I don't want to recreate the plan in the NRI if you already
Sure.
have it done. So we probably will want to upload the Greenway plan as well.
Okay.
To the NRI then.
Okay, I think that will be reviewed and approved within August. We have the last few little changes. We have a Greenway committee meeting next Thursday. And once they give their approval to come out of the committee, we'll take it to the trustees for their review and approval. They've seen it once and they came back with some changes. So this is the second round. So I don't think it will be a massive effort to get it pushed through next month. So the timing would be good for this document. Okay. All right. Thank you, Rachel. And so that's all I've got for the CSC side of it. I know that Gina, you wanted to talk about next steps for the clean energy communities. Oh, you're on mute.
So the next logical step after having done the advanced benchmarking would be to do the let me make sure I'm saying this correctly, clean energy upgrades. So if you are putting in, say, a heat pump in any of the municipal buildings, we would want to demonstrate a reduction of 10% greenhouse gas emissions. And if we can demonstrate that using that portfolio manager, that would be an action.
Okay.
If you were to put a heat pump into a building, also, we would do an educational demo. If it's replacing a carbon-based heat source, we can produce an educational demo. It has to be open to the public. And that's 700 points. That's a pretty high scoring action.
Okay. Both of those would probably have to happen within, if they did, would happen within our next budget cycle, which starts in February and ends in April. But I don't know of any building that we're planning on upgrading. Our current offices are fairly new, so we're going to have to wait for those systems to age pretty well before we replace them. At that point, I think that we will look into using air source heat pumps. Maybe if it's available, ground source. But we will do that. The other building, our old offices, could probably use that, but those offices are used so seldomly that I don't think it's a big concern in the village right now. We've got a community room that we do rent out or loan out. People can basically reserve it and use it for activities. But there have not been complaints about no heat and no cooling in there yet. But that would almost be the first one we would do. The DPW garage, I don't think we could really, it wouldn't be practical to do an air source heat pump, at least within the garage portion. I can check with our DPW crew to see what is the age of their current cooling heating system for the office space within that building, but I haven't really pursued that yet. So those are it would be probably I would think either the old offices or the DPW offices first, and then the main offices last. So that would be the timeline for those. But that discussion would probably come forth as we're preparing for our next budget cycle, where we're setting up what we would like to do with our resources for the next year.
Okay.
Nothing's included this year.
Was there anything else you were interested in that that you would like me to work on?
Let's see. The community campaigns, we still got to get together and kind of get some of those together and plan those, how we would want to do those separately or together. The stretch energy code, I don't know if we're going to be able to make that.
That's unfortunately expired.
Okay, so we don't.
They're not renewing it.
Okay, I will just make.
So there has to be. We have been talking to NYSERDA about a replacement for the New York stretch, because that's worth a great deal of points. So I don't know what's coming down the pike about that. I don't know if they're going to do an interim change or just going to wait until January. But there should be a big point item coming up at the beginning of the year to replace New York stretch. The other thing was the CCA, which I haven't I didn't think that you were interested in that, at least at this point.
Not yet. No.
Yeah. And that's kind of a mess at the moment anyway, because of the high energy prices. And some ESCOs have reneged on their deal for,
Oh no.
Yeah. So
that's not good.
That's a big problem. Also, Ithaca is pursuing a CCA, which is, you need like a PhD in rocket science to understand, and they want other communities to join them. So that's not good either right now. So I wouldn't recommend even worrying about the CCA for a while.
Okay. All right. All right.
So let's see. And also the clean heating and cooling campaign. Now that Lisa Marshall is out, she's not in Heat Smart anymore. I don't know who's replacing her.
Okay, so we can't really start working on it until we have a replacement person. Start working with them.
It could start on the solar, but we'd have to choose like a vendor or two to work with.
Yeah. Well, we currently have a contract with we have some contracts within the village from Solar Farms New York. So we might get them to come out and say, could you make a presentation, and we could invite.
So when I contacted them, Ronnie, it was a weird thing because, as I told you, your contact person at New York Solar Farms died.
Yes.
And then I contacted them and asked them who the new person would be. And then I was contacted by somebody named Noah Siegel. Okay. And I assumed he worked for New York Solar Farms, but I think he's a third-party administrator for them. I don't know that he works directly for them.
Okay.
So I would recommend we hear him out, what he has to say, and find out how he's connected.
How he's connected to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you have time, we can contact him and say, hey, give us your spiel and, let us figure out if we want to use you.
Okay. If you would send me that information, see this contact information, I'll try to get hold of him.
Okay.
And his name was
Noah Siegel.
Like the bird?
I think it's like George Siegel, Seagal.
Yeah, okay. I heard what I wanted to hear, I guess. Maybe. Okay, I'm just putting a note to myself.
So I'll make a note to myself to forward his information to you.
Okay. All right. Then I can get that started. But right now, those are the only ones we probably have time to work on. Let me open up the clean energy points estimator. And
do you have any interest in the demand response campaign?
I'm not sure. I'm explain what that is. I'm not sure.
It's just that in times of peak use, you would have 10 homes that have like a smart connection, whereby NYSEG can lower their thermostat or raise their thermostat as appropriate. Newfield is currently conducting a campaign for that.
Campaign like that. And
Yeah.
you'd only need 10 homes to participate in that.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, we could get some information about that, and I could pass it along and see if we could get some interest.
Okay.
I
I'll
know
send you that.
I know that that we received notification from NICEAG this week, I believe, that they are going to start putting smart meters in. And I believe that smart meters for the village of Lansing are Lansing, town and village, I believe, is 2023, probably mid 2023. So they may have something that they would want to roll out at this, down the road related to that. But we can get started early and see if there are people who are interested in this.
Okay. The good news about that too is that NICEAG directly supports those campaigns. They provide you with campaign information and they attend
Okay.
events, and so
Okay.
they're that middle person.
Yeah, this may be in preparation for the rolling out of the smart meters so that they can show how the meters can be used
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
on demand. Okay.
And
All
as
right.
far as Newfield's campaign is going, I believe they're using they had a grant that they had a little left over, and I think they're using that to give away some smart meters at the smart thermostats, excuse me, smart thermostats at the Old Home Days.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
which
good
is
idea.
nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of going through our planned. I think I have all of them listed. Clean fleets, no, there's no expired. Okay. I think those are about it right now for us that I can see quickly.
Yeah.
Programs may come and go, may change. So we can have this discussion, every month or every other month or something to make sure nothing new has come along. So I'll rely on you to let us know if something new is popping up and see if we're interested.
Absolutely.
And maybe we could do some research before a meeting and then talk about it more in depth during the meeting. In between, yeah.
Have
Get
you
information
received
in between.
your designation grant yet?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yes. We received it. I don't remember when. I think it was in early July.
Great.
Might have even been June, but yes, we did receive it. It's in the bank.
Nice.
So we'll be looking at how to use some of that money during our next budget cycle too. If we have then an account, and we just have to determine how we want to withdraw monies and transfer those into whatever projects we
Mhm.
determine down the road. So, yeah, and thank you
Great.
for your help with that.
You're very welcome.
I don't think I have anything else for today's meeting. It's very brief without other members, so I don't want to keep you too long. But if you've got any other topics, feel free to bring them up.
I don't right now.
But that's fine.
I just was gonna remind you that the ZEV infrastructure and EV rebates grants are still open. And so if you're interested in applying for them, I think I'm not quite sure what level you guys would be, but it's something like an 80-20 match to get EV infrastructure in. So if that's something that you're not ready for now, the DEC's made it seem pretty clear that they're planning on doing it again next year.
Okay.
So should be good for now, but if you do want more information, I can get that for you.
I am interested in that right now. I'm trying to see if we can get the TCOG members to pool their resources and try to do an intermunicipal grant application so that we can have a fairly standardized or branded EV stations throughout the county. And that way we could get more bang for the buck. And and when people drive through and they find one, they'll know what they look like pretty much everywhere else. So if they see another one, or they start looking, they'll know what to look for. Because occasionally they'll look totally different from each other. So we are interested in it as a village, and we've talked about it. It's just a matter of how do we want to start applying for grants or contacting vendors to see if they will cover the full cost, and then we just get a small percentage of whatever they take off of it. So there are multiple options, and we've kind of had very informal discussions about that as individual members. And I think it has come up within our Greenway committee and within a couple of the trustees, and a couple of residents have asked me about it too. So there is interest, and it's starting to bubble up. And I think that down the road, we will definitely need to do that and pursue that. I really want it on our village campus, but I want that primarily for our DPW light duty trucks right now, to try to get probably break in with a good EV hybrid, so that they're comfortable with it. Once they get comfortable with the range for the electric vehicles, go to all electric.
Yeah, awesome. Well, just wanted to make sure you were aware that it was going on, but yeah, let me know if you have any questions or if anything comes up. I think an intermunicipal application would work for the ZEV infrastructure grants. You might have to have one like primary applicant or something, and then everyone else is partners or something like that.
Yes.
But yeah, no, and I think they have, it's quite a significant pool of money that they have there. But obviously, if you could get it entirely covered by a third party, that's also great too. And depending on how that partnership works, it might be able to count for some points in CSC at least.
Right. But we are interested at this point. I'm just not sure which way we want to go. And I want to get more input from our trustees, actually all of our village staff, and see what they would think. And then start looking at installing those. So I appreciate, just keep letting us know. And at some point we'll say, yes, we're going to turn that on.
Sure. And then just my second point, what you guys probably know is that I think you guys will probably be ready sometime in early 2023 for applying for bronze in CSC, and then that will get you more points in
Okay, good deal.
Well, I don't know which one I just said. I might have just messed it up. I say the 3 C acronyms all day long: CSC, CEC, and CCE. So
I have the same problem when I'm talking. When I'm talking with the trustees, I'll say CSC or CEC, and I say, which one is that again? And wasn't it the CEC?
People are supposed to know.
Well, then a lot of times I will do the same thing, as I will say CEC when I mean CSC. So I sympathize. So, but it's
and
all.
You have the
it's
CCE
all within
and
the
CLCPA.
It's all within the same family. So it's getting the right things done for the right reason. So anyway, okay. Well, thank you both. It'll be a short meeting, and we'll communicate in between, and we'll see you next month. Okay.
All right, have a good evening. Bye.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.